Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another fantastic Team Fortress TV day. Breathe it in because it is a brand new air of ETF2L and its seasons. We're on season 39 now. Not quite the big 4-0. We're not really hit our midlife crisis in regards to our season age, but we're getting fairly seasoned as we're going to be going into our first week. It's a young season starting just off, and to start us off we're going to be introducing ourselves. So I'm TurboTabs, not sure if you've met. Nice to meet you. We've also got our buddy here, Dave. How are we doing, Dave?
Doing really well.
Very good. And we've also got Rahmed running around in the background, challenged to find this STV before we even have it. So he's got it. He's got it already. Wow, 1 minute in, this kid's a natural. But we're all going to be watching a grand old game of 3.5 stars versus Gremlins. And you're kind of probably wondering, who are these teams? Well, I've got you not only covered in the audio medium, I've got you covered in the written medium. If you head on over to teamfortress.tv, then we actually have some articles written just about these guys in particular. So not only am I going to double them as my caster notes tonight to make me seem like I know what I'm talking about, but you can also pretend to be a caster as well and head on over and look at those articles. Now, Dave, is 3.5 stars enough to warrant a purchase off an online retailer?
You know, it kind of depends what it is.
Well, okay, all right, okay, fair enough. Let's go with a TF2 team. Would you buy a 3.5 star TF2 team?
Probably not. Not
20
if I was,
quid.
not if I was attempting to go to Prem. That's for sure. You'd want at least 4 if you go to Prem, right?
Yeah, right.
Although saying that, obviously the talk of the town is a lot of the top Prem teams have kind of dropped out this season. No Fate, no Nerd Rage. So, on paper, it might be a little bit of a weaker season overall, but I think it does really kind of open it up. So, maybe a couple of 3.5 stars teams are enough to, maybe even challenge for playoffs.
Just giving the HUD the old retry there. All right, so a 3.5 stars doesn't really kind of call your palate. What about this Russian team, Gremlins, as they've been called? There's no silly sort of anecdotal evidence I can make out of this one. You have to just go with the title that's said on here. But if you've been doing your little research over on Team Fortress TV, again, you can find that article. They're kind of the Russian national team, mixed hybrid with some extra other players that aren't really Russian but can speak Russian, and they've really kind of a question mark. And even for themselves as well, they mentioned in a little interview that they don't really have high expectations for the team, but they performed really well during the national cup.
Yeah, I mean, the Russian national team was pretty strong. I think they ended up getting through to, was it the semi-finals or quarterfinals? They did lose to Frenchies there, so I don't know if that's kind of a bad omen going into this game. But yeah, they cut a couple of the players, or they didn't fancy playing anymore, and they've picked up, a few of the old kind of goon squad guys. So yeah, Lanza is back playing again with DQZ, and these were 2 players, of course, who they only made it through 1 week last season. So let's hope they do a little bit better this time.
Oh, TF2 crashed. That isn't going well. Well, okay. Well, I'm getting fired up. Maybe you could just give us an old roster rundown, just like the good old days, and we'll see if I can get loaded into TF2.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, for Gremlins, we've got Utka, Lanza, Slowtown, and DQZ are the soldiers. Pluha is going to be the demo man, and Silvermaster is going to be the medic. I think the thing about this team is it's so much down to like Utka. I think he's potentially a very, very big carry in this team. I think he's like an immense player. But the interesting thing is the last few seasons when he's been playing Scout, he's been playing Pocket Scout. He's just this. He takes all the heals, takes all the Ubers, just plows through the enemy team, kind of like a kind of Russian Banny kind of style. But it seems now with Lanza coming in, Utka's going to be transferring to the Scout, so maybe he needs to become kind of a Siberian tiger.
All right. Well, while over on the 3.5-star squad, we are going to have Puchuli, la 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 la, on medic. We're going to have Deli on Demoman. Raf is supposed to be playing soldier tonight, but I don't think I see him. It might be just Demel subbing in instead. But we have AZN playing on the roaming soldier. I assume Alien is going to be playing that scout alongside his scout buddy QB. And yeah, I've always loved a good RAF team, so if I do not see RAF, I'm a bit distraught. But I like Demol as well, so this has all worked out for me. But they have much higher hopes going into this ETF2L Season 39 than they do the Russian compadres, as they're kind of hoping to make playoff here, Dave.
Yeah, I'd have thought so. Like we say, it's very much more open this season. I mean, going into it, I think a lot of people said, this Ascent or Fortos team is going to be like the number 1 team, and then, it's going to be very close between all the other 7. But then looking at this week 1 game we already had, where the Fortos team dropped 3 points to Yak's team, maybe we're talking about it being very, very close between all 8 teams. So I think any team would be able to look, if they just get a couple of results early doors, puts them in a very, very good place for playoffs.
So, when it comes to week 1 games, how serious are these teams taking it in week 1? Do you think a lot of them actually practicing and they want to get a good foot off and out of the season, or a lot of teams still finding their feet? And does that apply to any of these teams tonight?
Well, I don't think either team has scrimmed as much as they would have liked, but they're not as prepared, and we're not as prepared as we'd like to be, and we are starting.
All right, if you're just joining us, I just need to remind you, it's ETF2L Season 39. It's 3.5 stars versus Gremlins. We're over on our first map of the evening. It is CP Process. Everyone loves a good CP Process, especially Deli, who's got a nice fast rollout going, setting up the starting stickies to sending in commanding presence. DQZ would be the first to fire off an aggressive posture, but he's kind of beaten out by the duo of 3.5 stars who have such a much more simplistic and just kind of brute forcing bomb straight into the core of the Russians, and they're actually surprisingly on the back foot here despite having a nice little jump to start off this mid. It's a blender, and the blender is looking a bit confused, and oh, is that a saw coming out? There's 2 saws, so that's a 100% charge advantage for Patrulli. Not only has he kept himself alive, but he gets like the Uber charges up in the air as well. I mean, he was pretty close anyways, but still impressive.
Yeah, pretty decent mid all in all. I saw both the Russian soldiers go really, really high. And again, there's a big drop. Patchouli drops immediately, slow down with a nice bomb.
Oh, just as, easy cometh, easy goeth, I guess. I don't know. Well, that's completely turned things on its head. I was going to say welcome to the second mid-fight, but we might be looking at a third mid-fight at the rate that both these teams go, because they just enter a blood-curdled rage once they lose their medic over on 3.5 stars, and they just commit anyway. They want to capture the point and hopefully just play it off that way, but I think the Russians can definitely make a play here. They've got a full Uber charge ready, and I guess gentlemen's agreement, they have to drop their medic as well. I can't believe that. I was just thinking it would be rather tragic now if they do that. All right, boys and girls, it's time for the third mid-fight of the evening as well. It seems to be just the buffet that keeps on giving, mid-fight after mid-fight, and it's now the Russians' turn to back out and just kind of recuperate.
Yeah, Silvermaster was left kind of alone there. The soldier, he hadn't been seen, he was hiding around the IT area, he just comes in with a big bomb, and no scout at all. He talked about maybe the scout role swapping as perhaps just caused a little bit of that confusion. They weren't sure exactly where they wanted to be, and big bomb comes in, it's a drop, and it's back and forth just because both these medics are dropping.
Oh, Deli, he's going in, but not committing, just kind of being the first one in the front line, and you can see that the Russians want to defend this from an arm's reach, and it's very understandable. They're down an Uber charge, really, in compared to the Frenchies, and they're going to start walking in now. They popped off Uber, Fluxer's holding the line and feeling confident, and they've responded with their own Uber as well over on Gremlins, and they can only really find the demo man. It's still a good pick and enough to warrant a push, I believe, but do the rest of Gremlins believe?
Doesn't look like it at all. They are posturing slightly, but no one really, as I say, wants to commit. They do pick up a nice frag onto Doomel, so that opens up a little bit. But
DQZ is doing a lot of work and putting in a lot of just fragmental power for this squad to just kind of force them into the second point. It was looking a bit dicey, but after a few skirmish exchanges and the cavalry turning at the last second, the Gremlins will walk away with that second point.
Yeah, Patchouli is just about coming up to 90% here, so they might look to hold this midfight. He does get the Uber. They pick up Unko as well on the entry as well, so Russians might have to scatter immediately. They are backing up a little bit. Soldier goes into Bull, but will get picked up close.
It doesn't deter them though. They're still hinting that they want to. Oh no, a executive call has been made. The flank has actually decided to back off instead. So we're even Stevens for both of these teams. And Nina, remind you, it's all been mid-fights really so far. No rounds exchanged. It feels like a lot's happened, but nothing has.
Oh, and my game has crashed, I'm afraid.
Whoopsie doodle. Well, everyone's TF2 is on the fritz tonight. The two teams seem to be quite solid, just waiting on second point. Like good little boys and girls are waiting for your return, Dave.
Okay, well, it's a second to mid stalemate, so I'm not in the game, but I'm going to predict that a soldier bomb will come in shortly.
Not even that, not even that. We're just all having a good spam exchange, trying to fight over these doors. D-Maul has got his main class going. It's the sniper class. Oh, and he opened with a nice opening shot onto the demo man. It's not quite the medic, but it's the best shot he could get with the sightline he was given. And what an opening start for the sniper class. It tries to rally the troops to maybe go in and play off that pick, but it just made them walk into the meat grinder, and they've ended up going down. Both Delhi and ASDN, they exchange Ubers, believe it, in all of this chaos, and both of these teams, they actually come out even, and none of them really want to commit in because they both lost the same amount of players despite the pick from D-Maul.
I am just about in here.
Fair play, fair play. Well,
I've lost some of the context, I'm afraid. So
no, it's quite alright. It's like nothing's really happened. Just take that last 30 seconds and just cut it out of your idea brain, because nothing happened really. D-Maul got a snipe, then things went a bit hasty, and then things that went not so hasty. D-Maul's having another crack at it. It's like an action replay. There we go. Yeah, it is literally an action replay. Bloxer goes down again. Okay, send in the demo man, send in the soldier. Wait, this is going off the timeline. They get a scout pick as well. Is that a headshot onto the soldier? DQZ is barreling out of this second point. Doesn't want to stay despite having an Uber charge ready. And D-Maul, he's starting to feel himself. He's at his Wheaties this morning, and they actually take the Uber aggressive, and they're on top of the medic. He gets the kill out of Patchouli. He didn't have the Uber charge ready for this last point. Grieve for these 3.5-star gamers, and D-Maul, it's time to play the hero card again. He can't quite find it though. He's been on fire, and it was too much to ask. He's been blazed from the sun.
Also a heads-up play there from Silvermaster. They killed the medic just before he came up to the Uber, and he was able to pick up the minigun as well, so he retained 60% of Patchouli's Uber. So now they're up 100% as they walk into mid here, so that's really well played from him.
Okay, that is some 5-head gameplay. I didn't even think about that. I completely forget about that picking up mechanic. I wonder if 3.5 stars will know that as well. If they do count Ubers enough to know that Uber charge. Oh, nice sort of save on the flank from D-Maul. I mean, now because he's taken that flank completely out, they have to come back for him, because D-Maul on the flank is just too much danger for a pushing in core of Gremlins. D-Maul decides to re-enter the fight. He's got 2 eyes on him. He wants to spam out this medic who's teetering on some damaged health. They will exchange Ubers now, but the Uber's looking much better from 3.5 stars. They're focusing Paul Pluxer, and they will just go for the Silver Master instead because he's on a silver platter. Lands will go down for the cause. It's time to play the who can find the medic game over on Gremlins. He's at choke, but can we even get to him? There's just too many of 3.5-star players fluttering about, denying their aggression.
Yeah, Ilka's trying to go in for something aggressive, but they didn't really even get any damage down to Patchouli in the end. Just had so many players all around him and choke. There was no opportunity to flank, no opportunity to just hold W either. So, well played by the Frenchies there. And Double somehow died. I don't know how that happened, but he ends up dying to full damage.
You was probably do. You can only have so many clutch plays. You have to balance out the universe and just have a clumsy fall to your death every now and then. So the climate right now, they have an Uber charge advantage, but they don't have the Uber. So they're just building that out over on 3.5 stars. They could kind of go over dot Uber, but I don't really see them positioned, at least not quick enough to pop this Uber immediately. It looks like Silver Master will have his Uber charge probably ready for this push, and they actually go off against it. They don't want to actually push in, it looks like, on 3.5 stars. They want to take things a bit slower.
Yeah, they only had like a 30% Uber advantage, so I think that's honestly good counting on from their perspective. Like they didn't want to risk going for it, being forced to go for it. They do get a force out somehow.
Okay. Wasn't entirely sure why. I guess somebody was brought down so low on Gremlins that they just really wanted to keep that one player into the last point. But I mean, it's the last point. You could probably leave with one person dropping during these sorts of field exchanges. You get a sentry gun. That's like a pseudo 7th man on the team, so it's not even like you've got a numbers advantage down. So they will play off this Uber 3.5 stars. They've Ubered in from the one door, and they've already taken out the sentry gun. They can't quite get on top of the point yet. It's covered in stickies, and they will try and play the point now. The stickies have been dead. They can't find Silver Master, who's just hiding back into his little safety bunker. We get a few kills here and there, but nobody's really focusing this point during all of this, Dave. Keep note, because points win games, but if they keep getting enough kills, their point will be a crawl. It will be so easy for them, and yeah, they actually win it out by getting the kills rather than the point here.
It's a really weird final push. They didn't get much with the initial aggression. AZN goes in behind, picks up a couple of frags, and then a load of players just chase the medic really deep into lobby. They did clean up that kill onto Patchouli, but the medic isn't that important when they have 4 of the players alive to just repush.
I'm surprised nobody ran a heavy weapons guy out of the door there. I felt like it would have completely shut down things for 3.5 stars. But new mid, new me as we enter in Delhi, trying to just set up the initial sort of sticky fire for Demol to play off here. Not too much damage, but oh my god, he is the damage. AZN follows up, and Delhi even gets a nice little kill onto Utka as well. You see the medic is backing out, but he's backing out to the wrong half of the map. Yes, this is the blue half, enemy territory here. What can they do but build Uber and hope that Lanza has the greatest scout Uber we'll ever see in our lifetime?
Oh.
If he can get past Demol in one single door.
Took so much damage immediately. They're already pushing on to second here.
Oh my god, the game
is still stuck behind. They're moving through IT now, but the players will not have an Uber to save them if they do decide to push into last. And
yeah,
the
they've just walked in. Patrouille's popped his Uber now. He's dropped a lot of players though. Delhi's gone down, the Demo Man, QB's gone down. They've arrived, Silver Master, done Lanza with their built Uber. They're like, boys, we're ready to fight. Where is the fight?
Fights on second. We see AZN going for something, propelled up in the air, but no one can land an air shot into him. Eventually picked up. The Frenchies 2 down, just sat back, and the Uber's very, very much equalised here. So, both teams will be looking. The Russians are actually getting quite aggressive into mid already, and there's really not enough players on the side of the Frenchies to contest.
It's a game of numbers right now, and it's not the Uber numbers, it's the player numbers. Because they lost 2 over on 3.5 stars, they will just back out and give Gremlins whatever they want. Mid, a player, positional advantage. Just don't hit us with that Uber charge.
Now they are posturing in from this Alco unit area. Lanza's quite deep here. It's just a little bit of distraction. I think Slowdown did go in for a little bit of a play. Couldn't get any kind of really serious damage down.
He's went going in, and they actually do get the force out. Enough damage was put onto Silver Master, and a sneaky scout snuck in from computer room, and so now they can. Oh, that's a nice little stylish crossbow. You don't really see them now every day. So AZM will stop from creating to his death, but with an Uber charge of 3.5 stars back pocket, you think they'd be kind of raring to go in.
Yeah, they're just waiting for those couple of spawners. They are moving through choke now with this 100%. Looks like they wanted to take it for free. Not too much aggression out of the Gremlins side.
Oh my, well, that was a sticky trap coming out from Pluxer, and it's just plucked poor Patchouli and his Uber advantage out of thin fucking air. So it's all hands on decks right now here, Dave. We're just trying to get any sort of frags, any sort of equalising kill. They will find Silvermaster, which is what they were bargaining for, but it's still kind of a sad state of affairs as they haven't really got all the bits and pieces that they wanted out of that Uber push, that Uber advantage push, need I remind you.
Yeah, mid is going to stay for the Russians. They're going to have those forward spawns. They are able to actually take it up onto the second point, and they're going to be able to couple the second point off the back of it. It's going to be a slight Uber advantage for Patchouli, but it's not a huge amount. It's going to be difficult to push into the second from.
So the firm grip is still on the Russians for this round, but in the grand scheme of things, they are still down the single round in the game. So if they put a strong foothold on this last point, they could, in theory, just win it out. But any sort of margin of error is tiny and very abusable. Still just 1-1 begging to be had, and it's up to Gremlins to make it.
Yeah, and we can see the Frenchies had absolutely no intention to push out whatsoever. They've actually built this sentry gun up on last while they did have that small ad. It got spammed down quite a bit, but QB is able to keep it alive, so we're seeing kind of very, very standard setup right now, with the exception of Taboo, who is on spy.
Yes, it's the old spy deal. I will check for classes, but whilst I'm there, I might as well just keep going as spy. So here's the price you pay when you run a spy and a character like Demor. Nobody wants to do it selfishly. It's always a bargaining chip. So he's going to have a bit of fun playing the Invisible Man, seeing if he can get anybody on this secret agent mode. And he's kind of holding quite close to them to say he's got an invisible watch. And between you and I, Dave, it's quite commonplace that this cloak is very loud, and he goes for the face stab. Brutal, full frontal face stab, and it doesn't go out as a backstab.
No, I think it's just a little bit too close to the declick there. I think it was audible, and Silvermaster, he's played some Highlander, I know, and just turned around perfectly in time. Occasionally that spy's just going to get that silly face stab, as you say, but not this time.
Oh, well, what about a second time? As Demol, he's not deterred. He wants to go back into it, and the old sideshow strat, I mean, they can't possibly predict another spy back-to-back. What kind of idiot would do that, Dave? Yeah. Oh my god, look at the medic, he's taunting him!
It's just showing him his back. I think he knows he's there, he's just showing him his back perfectly.
This is like nature. This is like a nature documentary. Like, you see the dance of the medic and he's trying to call out to the spy mates out there. He's holding close again. That decloak sound is extremely loud, and they're on a very quiet setting over on this second point. They need a distraction, a kind of play, and he gets caught out.
Yeah, he waited for Lanza to walk behind the medic and then went for the decloak, so he had to run past Lanza, and that was never going to work. Strange.
Does Demor strike you as a man that would go spy for the third time? Oh, okay, you don't see a sentry gun kill every now and then. They must really just getting desperate with their bombs now over on the Russian squad. They seem like they're a bit confused about what to do at this point. Sentry gun is set up, and we're on process. It's very hard to snipe and find an angle because of all these pesky shutter doors and held lobbies. So what is the Gremlins to do here, Dave?
Well, they've been running Unker on this sniper for quite a while now, but they really haven't picked him aggressive whatsoever. Like, with the Frenchies so far back, they've got their sentry gun, they've got their medic down in the dispenser. You'd think there'd be a lot of opportunity for them to take lobby or to try and pile some players into one to just try and get a little bit of an angle for Unker, but looks like they're being very, very patient, just looking for one guy to overpeak, and if he gets that one pick, maybe go for something more aggressive then.
Man, poor Utka even has to clear his own stickies. That's a very, very decisive headshot onto the demo man. That is a pick that we're looking for. But Demor, like I was talking about earlier, he is the kind of man to go spy 3 times, and third time the charm. The frontier of justice is out. The crits coming out. 4 lands. There's no one hitting it on DQZ. Loses all momentum from that Oh, he got sniped as well for his troubles, but it was a very nice sort of streak of frontier justicing I've ever seen.
It's just absolute chaos. None of the traditional classes doing very much at all, but all the off classes coming out. Sniper getting a couple of frags, the spy getting the crucial medic drop, the engineer getting frags with his frontier justice. Kind of crazy off class shenanigans. Then it looks like they're all competing for off class for the season already.
Boys, get on the clown shoes, get in the clown car, we're on our way to CP Orange, because everyone's just playing pub style here. They're even just pushing in quite dry for 3.5 stars, feeding themselves, and they're kind of throwing in everybody into the wolves of 3.5 stars, hoping that they can just get a pick onto that medic, but they will not find Patchouli. And the Ubers are quite even between these teams. You'd think there would be a quite a solidifying over on Gremlins, but they're kind of falling a bit at the knees and the seams as well. The DQZ does jump in, feeds his life away, and maybe that's enough to turn the tide. Patchouli's caught over on the flank. Lanza managed to weasel his way in, and 1v2 scenario, and oh my god, there's even more chaos happening on second point when we change camera, and it seems there's like 3 different games going off in this one map, Dave.
That was really, really strange. We are going to see the Frenchies now plow onto the pin. Kubi is getting healed up.
Kubi.
Oh, he gets destroyed by Slowzone.
And they still want to keep going in. Nothing will deter these two teams. I feel like someone needs to bind their tab keys to their game here. It's just nobody's doing a quick head count. It seems like lose 1 player, push. Lose gain 2 players, push.
It's just absolute chaos. We saw that after that last Uber exchange, the Russians just committed so hard, but there were 3 Frenchies behind. They pretty much wipe off the back of it, but Slowtown comes in with that big DM play, just owns QB, keep them very much in the game. It's only 1-0, and you know, while they are back at Lost Gremlins, 1-0 is much better than 2-0.
Okay, Uber exchange coming out. Silvermaster should have his Uber charge somewhat soon, but they lose way too many players and they're caught off guard. They have given up another round, and there's that cushion. That's that cushion 2-0 that I like to see if you are hoping for a French victory.
Yeah, they just built that Uber very, very nicely, a little bit faster. Caught the Gremlins out a little bit. I don't know what that ad was, but they pushed it very much on the dot.
Not greedy boy. Not only does he take a health pack, he takes the enemy health pack. He will immediately go down for his sins, but you know what a champ gameplay. As he will go aggressive. So the down a demo man, that's quite of a big deal. Over. Oh my sweet merciful God, Silvermaster, get out of here! It does not matter that there are no man down. It just fuels the fire of 3.5 stars, and they're hoping the scouts will just lead them to victory at this point. But truly gives them a buff, and he just slaps them on the ass and sends them in. Oh my god, the slap in the ass was not enough. QB goes down, and now they've only got 1 scout to play with. They do have Deli, who's come back to the midpoint, but he's kind of hoping for more of those health packs. Have you got any more of those health packs?
And we see somehow Patchouli survived all the way through that. He went so low in the enemy choke briefly, but there was no one. They obviously didn't have the calls on how much damage they'd done. No one was able to jump in and finish him off. So he does have 100%, quite a large 40% Uber advantage over Silvermaster, who is quickly building this. So they're going to have to be quick about this, the Frenchies. They haven't got perhaps as long as they might expect.
Yep, so you're taking the sweet time, but you know, you're on the cushion, baby. You're on the 2-0 train, and you can take things as slow as you like. They go in, they take out the sentry gun rather quickly. Deli's perched on the little power spot and just trying to spam out people against going on top of that point. They will pop off that Uber over on Silvermaster and company to kind of ensure they will defend that to the last point, but they want to play off the chaos here, and only 2 people were invited to the chaos. That's not chaos, that's a gathering.
Yeah, just a couple of players going down. QB went for a sneaky hiding spot in DQZ, but the 300 health soldier was more than a match for that hiding scout. So no frag there. I mean, really on the Russians now, they are 2-0 down. They're going to have to transition. Every time they get this just a little bit of an advantage, they're going to have to stamp their feet very much on the necks of the opposition.
Yeah, they're trying to hold this midpoint from an arm's reach and just see what cheeky spam they can get out. They have got a tiny, tiny advantage, and I have seen them just pop in. Oh wait, no, that's the Russians. So I don't think the French squad are quite as aggro as they. I don't think they're going to do these sort of dot pushes and play off it. They're just playing off the momentum of their gameplay over on Gremlins and just trying to play into it. They get on top of Delhi, who's going to go down, and oh well, poor DQZ. He will go down for the cause, but Plux is having a great time with that opening frag onto the Demoman. With the Demoman advantage up, they tries to play a bit of cat and mouse and chase here, but hasn't really got the rest of his team behind him. They're busy capping second point. He goes in now. He's going in for 3, but bless him, he can't land a single pipe or sticky as soon as he enters that last point. Heavy weapons guys here. He was that man I was talking about earlier that kills all the fun and momentum of a last push, and his job here is done.
Yeah, they couldn't quite find enough to convert that into a last push. The French is just going to come out straight away. No demo man, no pocket scout, so they're going to be able to take the second back. But I have to say, I was really impressed by that Russian double bomb. They saw how far the medic had kited back. They just completely changed their target to the demo man and picked him up instantly.
Oh my, that's quite an unsuccessful hold of this middle point. I guess they wanted to kind of force 3.5 stars, but there's nothing to force here, Dave. Maybe they were being very optimistic and thinking, oh, they have managed to just pop off the Uber as D-Moore was caught them on the flank, but it's even the best kind of bomb. You force the medic and he doesn't even know you're there. He backs out again. They're right on top of Silver Master, buried the scattergun into the poor boy and just pressed the fire key, and it has gone down for his squad. Medic up for 3.5 stars. Will they go in dry?
Looks like they want to take it dry. Still no heals up for the Russians. Blue are very much back into more than sticking so much cap time on it, and they do take it. It's 3-0 now.
Oh. Well, this is the point as a caster where I hold down the tab key, I look at the timer, I look at the round count, and I have to use the word. It is mathematically impossible. It is mathematically possible. Is it probable? No.
Definitely not. But for one thing, they definitely need to improve their mid-fights a little bit. They definitely need to win this one.
Yeah, it would have to be an absolutely steaming roll coming out from the Gremlin squad, and it's not going great so far. Everyone's on the back foot wanting heals, begging for heals out of Silver Master, and he's not really the master of healing. He can't possibly pump out this much to recover his teammates in, so they have to get a bit more creative, start playing off the damage and the bombs with what little health they have, and oh my god, slow tan, and oh my god, they're actually making it happen. If you wish upon a star hard enough, and this is a scenario they're not used to. They've actually gone behind in enemy territory, but they don't want to suffer the same mistakes as the Russians did. They actually just hit the kill bind. Suicide is the correct answer, it seems, in the game of TF2.
Yes, very much in TF2. In TF2 only. And yeah, 100% now up for the Russians in red, and they are just waiting a little bit. They've got the second cap down, they're going to take it in now, Turbo.
Oh, they've popped off the Uber nice and early, countering Alien on that sniper class. They need to start focusing down those combat classes. Ignore the medic, he's a non-factor at this point. Well, they take out the medic first anyway, so they're still getting a huge amount of damage. They're delaying a lot of time with this heavy weapons guy and this demo man. Yes, they've won a round, but have they won the heart of this timer?
I don't know about that. It's still just about possible, Turbo.
I'm not even looking at the gameplay right now. I'm just looking at the clock. 100%. What is a gun? What is any sort of gameplay? I can't even enjoy this nice jump from Pluxa to start off this game because the clock is ticking and talking so loudly. It must be driving poor Gremlins crazy as they lose Silver Master straight off the bat. They have to go for Patchouli to hopefully even out the war, but the war is pretty much said and done and over. There's only one battle left, and they're not winning it by any margin here, Dave.
Yeah, Demille doing a great job just knowing the win condition. They just had to kill Silver Master, and then it's pretty much game over. Just jumps straight in, lands perfect on his head, nice rockets, and now the two scouts on the beam, just absolute minutes to the opposition just cleaning up these last few gamers. DQZ having a torrid time of it and will die.
Now, if only we had a concede function. If only ETF2L. But I think they actually threw that idea into the bin. One of the casualties of season 39. And so join with me as we're going to be here for a long minute. Longest 1 minute and 35 seconds of your life, Dave.
Perhaps. I don't know. I've had some worse experiences than watching some Russian DM lords try and fight some Frenchies, but you know, they're up to 100, both teams 100%. They're just going to take this uber straight in. Nice little trade here, DQZ, just classic soldier trade. Not even firing a rocket, he doesn't even need to fire a rocket. That's how much of a Chad he is.
Yeah, they just don't want to lose another round. They could have just been cheeky and played for the frags there, played for the fun of the game, but they really just don't want to lose out on another round, and 3.5 stars just kind of go in with like, yeah, why not? Why not? Just give it a go, give it your best shot, and oh, it's actually getting quite close. QB, 2 HP warrior, hiding in a corner, praying, hey, and you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, right? I think that was the alternative world if that dance battle did not go well and you just get guns down immediately.
Yeah, Uka only knows frags. He doesn't want to indulge in any of that kind of stuff. Alien Smiley picking up the sniper rifle, but not what he would like.
He heard him. He heard him. Even if the game is over and you can still hear him over the cries of his teammates and this lost first map for Gremlins, but no fourth by gameplay shenanigans 4D more. 8 seconds left. Count with me, Twitch chat. You know your times numbers table, right? 2, 1. It's over. Victory for the 3.5 star team. They're on the way to the playoffs as we speak here, Dave, in our first humble step of this 1,000-mile journey. Is it an accounted for step, or are you shocked in any measure?
Not really shocked. I think a lot of people were saying going into this they were the slight favourites. We weren't really sure like what the Gremlins roster was up to. We knew like a few of the players, but there's a lot of uncertainty about them, and you know we can see that kind of reflect in this first map that the Frenchies just looked a little bit more kind of savvy, a little bit more accomplished, kind of throughout. The Russians did some good things. Certainly, when it came to the like more kind of even kind of standard team fights, they did really well, but they, you know, often the Frenchies would just pull them out of position, and they just capitalized off that really, really well, I thought.
Well, Raf would be proud, and I think we're also proud to present some nice numbers to Raf. Let's see if his team has been pounding on the mathematical equations as much as they have been in gameplay. So, is there any sort of stats that jumping out at you? Have you got a favourite stat, maybe, Dave?
Air shots, maybe.
Air shots. We do not talk about air shots enough, and AZN has got you covered. 10 air shots on the boy. Otherwise, the only thing that the Russians were kind of soaring in was the air shot counter. Let's, ignore rounds. Pfft, it's all about those air shots.
Yeah, both the Russian soldiers doing pretty nicely with air shots. And Delhi coming up 6 air shots on the demo man. Very, very impressive from him as well. Looking at these logs, actually pretty even. 89 frags to 91. So, you know, pretty close. No one really jumping out as a kind of standout performance for me. What about you, Turbo?
Well, you're right. Actually, the stats are very much deceptive. Maybe Alien was kind of popping off. He's the only one really with like a single digit death counter in the game. So by ipso facto, he's stay alive, get kill. I mean, we can discount Patchouli. That's if he's entering double digits and he's winning the game, something is really going wrong in this game of Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, and as we say, you know, if you looked at these logs, it could easily be 3-1 the other way. That they actually look pretty damn close. So, you know, as we say, I don't think it's a big skill difference between the two teams. It's just the Frenchies are a little bit more experienced, a little bit smarter about their play.
Yeah, there was very much a constant chaos factor going on for these teams, and they would have the moments really. When I reflect back, the huge, monumental, crushing moments of medics being lost with Uber charge and dropped a piece in these games. And I mean, to say I've watched it, I still am not entirely grasping how 3.5 stars won it. I mean, they did win, and I feel pretty convinced that they won, but looking at the stats, it just seems the more I look at them, the more confused I get about how the victory happened.
Yeah, I think it was just whenever it did descend into a little bit of chaos, if the Russians didn't kind of instantly win it just off their DM, the Frenchies would just have, a little bit better grasp of how to play out those situations where they had players behind. The Russians got caught like over chasing, or it ended up kind of feeding into kind of bad Ubers. And really, I think I don't know who the main caller is for the Frenchies, but I thought Alien did a very, very good job in kind of managing kind of when to go aggressive at the tail end of those Ubers, especially.
Wait a minute, it's actually all coming back to me now. I know why the Russians were struggling so much, because whenever they got some sort of advantage and they pushed them all the way to last, they just hit this brick wall. Last was quite a conundrum for them to hack, whilst I remember Frenchies having a much easier time with it. Yeah, I mean, they took a few stabs at it, a couple, but it was much more of a progressive plan. It just felt like once the Russians got to the last point, they were thinking, "Oh, well, now what? Our sniper's not working. What do we do? How do we trade him in? We go spy for 4 times in a row. How do they do on 3.5 stars?"
Yeah, it might be that they don't have that much confidence in the stalemates as well. Like you said, we saw them playing very, very passive around a sniper when they were around down, and they did have time to make that work, but essentially they put themselves on a clock until eventually, like that D-ball play worked. You went spy 4 times over the course of the game. Only one of them worked, but it was a crucial drop.
All right, Dave. I've got fortunate news for you. To make things just a bit more even between these two teams, you got the soldiers popping off on the Gremlin squad and the scouts popping off over on the 3.5 stars squad. So we cater to the map, just kind of tilt the towards the red side just a little bit more, and we're going to Granary, baby. It's a soldier map through and through. I'm printing it right here. No scout is enjoying himself when he's playing this flat, door-filled, lobby-based, tiny room gameplay of a map.
Yeah, well, certainly traditionally, so many choke points, so much spam that you have to deal with. Certainly traditionally, like a soldier map, demo obviously being very, very important. Slightly different for demo, I think, than a lot of the other maps. You're often just watching a sticky trap, or just trying to get some spam in. Not quite as much like straight up DM as some of the other maps, but certainly, I mean, as Scout has become more and more kind of influential in the meta, more and more powerful, we have seen a lot of Scouts kind of work out how to do well on this map, and it's often more off the sneaky players. I think Utka particularly is one I'm looking to kind of, if he's able to get behind a lot and go for kind of crazy flanks, crazy plays, he can run rings around the opposition for sure.
I know, he's going to be hard pressed on a map like this. I wonder what these two teams will play like, because it can get quite stalematy on Granary. Not only has it got those 5 points, it's almost got like a pseudo 7th point between these two teams added together, because that yard area is just such a massive buzzkill when it comes to throwing out momentum. You have to cross all the way, actually deal with another defense, and then you have to unlock the second defense just to get to the second bleeding point.
Yeah, you don't have that many kind of options to kind of break that yard stalemate either. It's really just up to kind of some kind of crazy soldier play or some kind of busting the flank.
All right, boys, we're going live. We're going in and we're going Granary. It is ETF2L Season 39. It is TurboTabs and Dave and Rahmed covering 3.5 stars versus Gremlins. Let's see if Gremlins can have a better showing on this second map here. And we're starting off our mid. Pluxer hasn't already picked up the health pack. It's on lockdown. Delhi's keeping it hostage, and we'll just opt for a crossbow instead, and just gets it plucked away from him just to start off this. They spend so much time in the corner that they haven't really had enough to impact compared to Delhi, who's just raining fire on the poor Gremlin squad.
Silvermaster took so long to enter that mid-fight. He baited forever and ever, and as soon as he did walk in, the soldier landed on his head, hit with 2 rockets, and he died instantly. And off the back of that, really, there was no forward momentum either from the Gremlins side, so very, very easy for the Frenchies just to finish off those, couple of frags with the heals that they had, and now they're up at 100%, and Silvermaster is crawling up to 30.
That's one of those mids where probably the mumble starts to get pretty quiet if you're on the side of Gremlins, as things don't look good. Everyone wipes out. They've got quite a full team over on 3.5 stars, and they've got an Uber charge salvaged and ready to boot. So they're going in from top, so they can quickly identify Silvermaster. He's on the right hand side, pushes him back into the spawn door. They will deal with the sentry gun. They even get some nice crisp fight to open up this last point as well, and because Silvermaster died on that mid, he doesn't have an Uber charge ready for this second sort of branch out defense, and they will actually make things quite even just by the defenders' look of things for Gremlins. And another Saw Patchouli is not quite as fortunate as he was in our process game, and they hold here over on Gremlins.
Yeah, we talked about this not being a scout map, but this last fight is, potentially something that is very, very good for scout, very, very open. They can just dodge all the projectiles, as we saw, and that double scout combo, Lanza and Utka, just doing all the work at the end of that fight as their comrades fell beside them.
Demo, he loves the spy class now. Get one backstab and he feels empowered, and they won't expect a spy here. Easy backstab. I'm the medic now. I'm the scout, and he backs out as well. He might even get a pistol kill. Oh, he's thinking about face stabbing Cluck, so the man is just greedy. He still lives. He's actually getting healed, and he's pistoling down the demo man. He wants to go for the scout next. Is this going to be a 4-man wipe for the man?
Well, it is certainly a wipe on the side of Gremlins. Now, Frenchies, they're going to take second easily. We're going to see if Dabul is going to sneak in, provide some comms for his team, but they're looking to take it already.
If he gets a backstab here, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. The computer's going out the window. They're going to cap the point before they even have a chance. They were so enthralled with building the sentry gun over on Lanza that they were like, oh yeah, that point.
Yeah, there wasn't even enough time. They transitioned so fast, there wasn't even enough time for the demo man to spawn, so absolutely no one kind of took it on themselves to watch that point. The sentry gun wasn't even up, so it's very, very easy for them to convert, but it's all off the play off to Bull with the spy. He went spy 4 times to the last map. He's already got 2 frags on it in this round.
Yeah, if you head on over to ETF2L right now, you can see Demo changing his settings. His most favourite class in the whole wide world is now Spy. They have a much better showing on this midpoint for the Russian squad. Although I say that, how did they went into the blue garage area, and I guess they really wanted to take the fight into enemy territory, but they had the mid. They could have just played the high ground there.
Yeah, I mean, the players that were behind did get kind of just bombed and landed on and got absolutely mulched. Delhi was so weak for the whole of that fight, but somehow escapes on 12 HP. No one quite having the damage score or just the knowledge of how weak he is. He will get out and he will be able to set up stickies on this yard area.
It seems like 3.5 stars are having a whale of a time at the moment. QB's just running around the map. Delhi looks like he's enjoying himself, just playing good old demolitions man. And yeah, it seems like he's going quite untouched and unfazed here. And the boy is just landing pipes, landing stickies one after the other, making it look so easy.
This time Delhi goes out to 9 health. He's living a really charmed life this time. Takes another rocket. He's barely getting healed at all, but will somehow sneak out once more. They seem to just completely take control of Yard off the fact that they just can't convert the kill onto Delhi.
Demo, I'll tell you what class he doesn't like. Doesn't like Soldier right now because it's just a pain to actually get in from this flank area. It seems like as quickly as he went over here, they wanted to rotate over on Gremlins, and I mean, he's surviving a lot longer than he has any right to. There we go. Now he goes down, and the dominoes start falling. They're actually on top of Patchouli and kind of peppering him down. He's feeling bullied here. He's on minuscule HP. He has to pop his Uber at the fear of a pistol shot. So now they start to kind of go on a counter-attack. But can they counter-attack things? Oh no, Udka. Oh no. He was home and away there, and he is his own greatest enemy.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to sneak out. All of the Uber was spent chasing him. He manages to sneak away from those scouts, peppering him down, but does sneak just a little bit too aggressively over the high ground and craters to his death. But they do still have 100% here on Gremlins. They're going to try to plough through this left-hand side, and it's going to cause the Frenchies to scatter all the way back to their last. Just put up a little bit of spam and a little bit of a hiding to move.
Oh, Demo will force that Uber, but I'm sure they can just make that Uber work over on Gremlins. They're already capping second point now, but they're unaware that Demo is still hiding in Lunchbox area, rotates and kills the person that was on cap duty for Gremlins. He's still in Lunchbox, hoovering up health packs. He's actually going to get another kill. Demo is being such a pest and a pain for poor Gremlins. It's shunted the push.
Yes, it's so much work there to Bull, just completely shutting down any kind of aggression that they wanted to get going. This time it's Slowtown's opportunity to do something of a similar thing, but rather than staying behind, he's decided to get out of there, going to preserve his life, just spam a little bit from a long range, and Silvermaster just about comes up to 100% now. It's going to be even in this.
Nice sort of movement coming out from Delhi and locking down that door, making sure they can't leave. Look at this man, he just walked through a door that was stickied up. He's, what a Chad. Poor alien goes down to the sticky door thinking it must be clear. The Demoman buddy went in fine, but now he's just been baited. Has to go back to the respawn queue, and Delhi decides to rejoin with his team. If he gets that pipe, no, okay, we'll just go for the crater instead. They've actually flanked around here over on Gremlins. They want to take the Uber fight directly into them, but I feel like they could have just kept going behind. That's usually the advantage of playing that yard area. Just keep playing behind if you really want to, but they hold their ground, 3.5 stars, pop off their Uber. Now they will back off into the next tier of defense for our second granary.
Yeah, but they did a good job. They got what they wanted. They took that yard, but no, they've lost a couple of players. Now they've lost those 2 players, they are going to have to probably give that yard back up straight away.
Oh, I've seen this play before. Delhi jumping forward, seeing if he can catch somebody in the yard, but nobody is there to play, so they will just back off. Move on Gremlins, willing to give up this midpoint. They could play the fight here, but losing Slowtown this early, really can't think of just making this midpoint defend words.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with Slowtown there. It looked like he was AFK briefly. The soldier just kind of bombed him, but he just kind of stood there and died. So that was a bit strange to see Taboo taking a duel with Unka, which Unka will just run away from. Doesn't fancy that. And then runs straight back into Taboo. But it is traded back eventually by Slowtown, going back over to the flank off his respawn. So couple down for the French side, 3.5 stars. Just the 1 down for Gremlins. So, yeah, neither side has too much aggression going, but it does look like Gremlins are going to try to take this in.
Yeah, they're going one at a time, too much for my liking, though, over on the Gremlins, and they have to back off now, because look, this is the sort of taste of medicine I was expecting. They were humouring the idea of actually QB's gone behind, starts capping the point just to be cheeky, and even goes further back, and what now for 3.5 stars? They kind of busted in from the left door and then back all the way out to mid as well. Okay, I guess they're just playing with their food. They had a huge positional advantage and just walked away.
Well, they did get the force, like they walked all the way in, kind of took them out of position, and then Demul just caught Silvermaster completely flat-footed, jumps in with the bomb onto those 4 players that were looking the other way. They get the Uber out, then they just back up nice and safely. There's no threat of a counter-sack coming in to force the Frenchies, so they're going to have, well, it's actually a dwindling Uber advantage. Will they be able to take second off the back of it?
Yeah, in their sort of steady-footedness to kind of make sure nothing could go wrong with this Uber, they've gone a bit slowly. Then Uber charges back off for Silvermaster. I think they'll be a bit confused here over on 3.5 stars. They popped really aggressive into them, and they get responded in kind with an Uber charge from Silvermaster, but he pulls back on the leash. They do not want to chase here, Gremlins.
Yeah, it wasn't a great position for Gremlins. They didn't really have as many players as they would have liked on the high ground. They didn't really have great sight on the doorway either.
Just seeing if there's any sort of play from either of these two teams, but they're more than happy to just keep building out Uber between both of them.
Yeah, just this classic kind of, there's a shutter door, both teams set stickies up near it, you spam a little bit, soldier goes pigs in.
Well, the quicker one with the Uber charge. Oh, it's going to be a photo finish. There we go. Actually, 3.5 stars will get it, but just as quickly Silvermaster has it. And they must know if they're 3.5 stars. They're actually already on top of poor Silvermaster. His Uber's been forced off, so it's not even about a race anymore. It's about an advantage. And they do try and rupture the flank a little bit on with DQZ, but he ends up going down instead, and a lot of weight is put onto Utka's shoulders, the only person unaccounted for in all this, and he wasn't quick enough to stop this second point. He's going to backcap instead and just pray that his teammates can hold on to this last point enough in time. They pop off the Uber, but they're trying to cap last point, and Demo comes back and deals with the backcap, so now that not even that avenue is going to bail out poor Gremlins, and because they played the slower fight and Demo won that back cap, it will be 2-0.
Yeah, I have to say it's a little bit of a misplay there from Utka. I think if he could have just come in at the tail end of that Uber and, gone for, helping his teammates out in the fight, it would have worked a little bit better. But yeah, he just went committed deeply for the back cap. I mean, they're only kind of one frag down, so I think they could have maybe taken that fight. But he didn't fancy it, went for the back cap, didn't work out.
Flux is really enjoying this sort of chill in the corner, wait for the crossbow sort of gameplay, and wow, there's a lot of ground given up by 3.5 stars. They just want to hold in their sort of ramp room and play things from there. I much prefer how they're playing Gremlins now, actually playing off the ground that they've won and just playing it safe, playing it back. Utka not really got the memo on that mid hold, so well chased for Patchouli. It doesn't go down, and Silvermaster's only just come back to the world of the living, so this Uber charge is ready and waiting to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, classic big crunchy mid from the Frenchies. Just every time Silvermaster has been, I think he's killed as soon as he's walked into mid every single time by the bombing soldiers. The Gremlins haven't been able to deal with those really, really high bombs you can see coming in on this granary map. And the Frenchies just doing a very, very good job of playing safe around Patchouli, just nice and far back in the garage, and a very, very easy classic for them.
It does make me wonder what the philosophy on these mid fights for the Gremlin squad. Do they lose Silvermaster and that's why they get so aggressive trying to chase down Patchouli, or is it the plan that they really want to just throw everything in the kitchen sink to try and get that medic down? Because I think if they pour more resources into dealing with those soldiers for their own medic's sake, I feel like they're going to get mid for free most of the time.
Yeah, they could also, roll the medic out like at a different angle and roll them out up top. Go through their own garage if they wanted to, but they haven't opted for that so far. They have had a decent Uber trade off the fact that the Frenchies probably weren't quite expecting them to come up for this Uber. So while Silvermaster has been going down quite a lot of these mid fights, he has been building Uber very well after he has gone down.
Yeah, I don't think they dare go through another doorway, because I think just by how Pluxer wants to play, he wants to wait for that crossbow, and that does kind of force your medic into that one corner. But our thesis of mid aside, we've still got the team trying to push in right. A lot of damage put out from Demul here with barely a scratch on him, and It's looking a bit pear-shaped. They still want to keep pushing, though. They've gotten this far over on Gremlins, but they're losing people one by one. They actually going aggressive with the Uber. They will force 3.5 stars, but they're on the chase. They've got the scout taxi. They take out one. Can they take out another? One scout just commits his life to delay things. Get back, Silvermaster. Get down, Mr. President.
Yeah, the health on the Gremlin side was not there to make that kind of aggressive play. They went in for a trade, but a lot of the players were down to half health. Certainly not many players with the buffs on them, and it's very, very easy for the Frenchies to play back as much as they would have liked, to sit back on their heels, have a slightly better Uber, and they had a lot more health at the end of the fight to convert as well.
I feel like nobody wants to take and bite the bullet here, Dave, and go all in on that super flank. Once you bust in from the left and you've got that Uber charge, you can just keep going. But a lot of teams, I'd imagine, would think that's too much all in. But isn't it quite all in, just going in, Ubering first, and hoping that in the post Uber on that yard area, it's going to work out?
It is, it's pretty aggressive. Oh, there's so much damage there coming down from DQZ on the choke. Delhi gets absolutely deleted off the back of it, and no way for the Frenchies to, continue that aggression. But really now up to Gremlins. Are they going to be able to push them in off that demo pick?
Oh, they're maybe trying to get the jump onto Petrulli, but it's just such a hard target to get onto. Did Demo just shovel somebody who, well, not even like the stylish kind of shovel, like a classic shovel, like 2007 shovel?
Yeah, the old fake non-crit market card. It doesn't count, I'm afraid. It doesn't have the star points. You're not nubby, I'm afraid, mate.
Oof. Demo, though, shows off some nubby stars with that nice bomb and will get a force and a lot of damage, even a kill as well. So things are looking a bit tatters here for Gremlins. They have to just dust off the remnants of that Uber and just hope they can hold the second point without it.
Yeah, we do see Unka going for a little bit of a hide. Don't know what he's doing. There's so many players in this lunchbox area. There's no way he's going to be able to take that fight off buffed players. So he's a little bit of a feed, I have to say.
Slow down, nice sort of spam, and wanted to see if they can force out a thing, but we'll get a scout kill instead. We'll kind of deter or make this push a bit weaker for 3.5 stars, and we've seen these granary defenses from them before. They can hold this last point even when things are going all right for 3.5 stars, so they're going to play safe and they're going to wait for the scout buddy to come back, but that's bought some precious time for Silvermaster to get a counter Uber ready.
Yeah.
If anybody actually heals with him.
This looks like a sack coming in from Delhi.
Oh no, it's just the soldier instead. Oh my god. Wait, oh no, he got the pill! He got the kill! Oh my god. I lost it in all the sort of chaos and following there. The Demoman perspectives, it gets all warpy. Oh, I can't believe that worked. I just checked out. As soon as the initial stickies and bombs didn't work, I was like, this medic is surviving, and he did not.
There's certainly an interesting play. They knew that the Uber had gone down to only kind of 10-20%, so they decide, what they're not going to expect. They're going to expect the Uber to come in, on the dot. What they're not going to expect, just a classic Demoman sack play.
Man, move over Elacor, move over Namtak. Delhi's in town, and he's really putting a foothold as this French Demoman. Really having the time of his life on this. Okay, well, that's an interesting pop. A very, very early pop. He's going to have to pick up the pieces here. Silvermaster's already hiding in spawn. He really does not want to lose his life. He hasn't really got an Uber charge to live for, so maybe having some players firing at that medic wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. And they are cleaning up here, but there's just so much of 3.5 stars to deal with. 3 rounds on the board. Can you get half a round?
I don't know about that. Certainly not, I don't think. But yeah, but just not the best Uber. Petrulli took so much damage just moving through that upper area that they didn't get a great entrance at all. But the scout play from the Russians were very much in sync, but it was so in sync they both ate the same rocket from AZN at the end of the fight, and they did go down for it.
I feel like Delhi has like a very nice, varied diet of mid-fight. You know, he rolls out top, rolls out, aggressively. But oh my sweet merciful god, Demo, that was a really good air shot that didn't get a kill, but it does go make him crater in the end. And things are going just a bit chaotic for Gremlins, and the chaos just doesn't play well for them. At least when they get in the mid-fights for 3.5 stars, and it just seems to not work out for them, and I can't really pinpoint why.
Well, it's getting slightly better. That time Silvermaster did survive the double bomb from the soldiers, but he only survived with about 5 health, so Alien was just able to chip shot him from the other side of the mid. They did pick him up, and this soldier aggression from 3.5 stars is so impressive, and the Gremlins just haven't been able to deal with it whatsoever. So it really puts them on a timer. They have to go and chase down Patchouli like so early into the fight, and he's just played really far back, same positions.
He actually walks in with an Uber charge and doesn't pop it immediately. He knows the sniper's there. They will take down Slowtown on that high pipe area. They shouldn't really have to worry about an Uber charge so much, so they're just ignoring Silvermaster until he, really is the last person on that squad they can fire at. But it's all been a distraction play. They actually didn't press the tab keys and notice 2 scouts hiding in the wings there, Dave.
Yeah, the scouts were they just cleaned up a couple of players on the far side, and then they just came up, and while Silvermaster was dodging and duking in one corner, those projectiles.
Okay. Uber's just running around, goes straight in, almost wins a fight against a buff scout and a medic, and does go down, but maybe just flying a bit too close to the sun there.
Yeah, he definitely trusts his DM and will hold W. But sometimes the rest of his team is certainly not on the same wavelength. They weren't on the same wavelength there, and someone who is definitely not on the same wavelength as the rest of his team is Delhi, almost getting caught out in the shutter, but will survive. You know what I see? It's a double pyro.
He's really trying to go for the bingo card tonight. Is a backburner pyro as well at that. I don't know, I guess you've heard of face stabs? What about like face burns?
2 players tried to commit super hard.
He's actually pushed off the stickies and he's just on top, and he's actually going for the face burn. He forces the medic with a pyro, a back burner. I've seen it all.
We got him.
Absolute chaos. Just the pyro in the choke. Not getting any
Lanza holding his ground, playing these corners against the soldier and winning. Is that a pause, or is that the server pooping itself?
Looks like a pause to me, yeah.
There's 7 minutes left on the clock with 3 rounds. At what point does people need a pause now?
Well, either someone's internet is dying, or the Russians have come back, got a round, and the Frenchies are fearing a crumble. One of the two.
Right, boys. Once this person's back in the server, you're definitely gonna. Things are gonna change around these parts. 3 rounds are just gonna get shot up for Gremlins.
Yep, and just having a look at this, looks like QB is going to die instantly. So, kind of interesting situation. Silvermaster is obviously up, nice and healthy. Only 20%, but by the time Patchouli's even spawned, that's going to be a decent ad for them to push. So we haven't really seen Gremlins do too well in terms of convert. They haven't really had that many opportunities where they've had ad, and they've really been able to steamroll up point after point after point. But they really need to start doing it now.
It's hard, especially if you can't get your mid-fights in order and the state they're in, because it's already like an uphill battle. They're playing a harder brand of TF2 where they have to go right from the end and push them all the way back. And it gives a lot of intervening time for 3.5 stars to get their stuff together.
And yeah, we say obviously Granary being the 7 CP, that it does mean you do have a little bit of an opportunity to slow everything down a little bit. They've got to navigate through that yard area. They've got to navigate through so many choke points on this map that it's not compared to Process, which is obviously the first map. That's a map where you win one fight, you can get a couple points off the back of it. You can just go so fast from last to the enemy's last. This map very, very different.
All right, Dave, I'm going to make you look like a very, very smart man right now. Usually, when we get to the logs part of a game, we kind of forget about maybe what's happened in the grand scheme of things. But is there? We're going to go things in. Oh, nope, never time. No time to make you into a smart man. We're trying to go straight back into the paused gameplay, and everyone's got their ski boots on. We're rolling around in the roller ring, and it looks like Gremlins are having a bad time on the skates.
Yep, they're going to take into mid very, very easily. Demul was just peeking a little bit with this sniper. Another off-class from Demul. Perfectly, that's exactly what you want to see.
Bingo, bingo, I've got it right here. What do I win? 3.5-star TF2 team, that's not worth it. Alright, okay, so bad jokes aside, 3-0, 6 minutes left. It's dreams on the line here, and they want some points, I feel like, out of poor little Gremlins. This is the sort of matchup that they kind of need to make an upset happen, because it can only get harder from here, because this team is only aspiring to get top 4. They've still got top 3s to deal with. They're pushing into last. They've actually got a lot of cap time on point. One soldier takes a bow out and thinks it's too hot on this point. I'm going to try and sneak up on my way onto pipe. It doesn't pay off, and it's calmed back down to the 3.5 storm.
Yeah, Gremlins just getting a little bit ahead of themselves. They're trying to take that Uber in, really pushing themselves to push it on the dot, but they just had no scouts. Both their scouts were dead, so it's going to be very, very hard to convert a last push if you're going in with no scouts, even if you get some kind of mega Uber.
One scout's giga dead. He's on my hood. He's a question mark. He's gone. He's out of there. Have you ever... It's like a Yu-Gi-Oh! He's been banned to the Shadow Realm. Have you ever been killed so hard that you've been knocked out the server, David?
Personally, no. Personally, no.
Well, let's see. You've revealed my trap card. They've actually popped an Uber aggressively into them, but they're milking it so hard here over on 3.5 stars. They only really pop it at the end, but I don't think they even needed to pop it there.
Well, they have been able to clean up a lot of frags on these 3.5 stars side. Slowtown eventually cleaned up in the backlines as well. So it's just Silvermaster the one giving it up. He's got a scout with him now. It's going to land and clean up a frag onto Sybil, but they're already ploughing it into last. So much cap down instantly. And that's now 4-0.
Okay, so I think... So we really are just playing with 5-man in the 6v6 game. So I guess Utka's got some real computer issues, or he's not too pleased with the state of things. But either way, the show must go on, as there is no concede factor here in this ETF2L season. Well, you don't know what you've truly lost until it leaves, Dave.
Yeah, it was so popular. I'm surprised he got rid of, but you know.
Well, this is one of the rare situations that he probably could have justified its use.
Absolutely. They've actually done better on this mid fight with 5 players somehow. They've somehow kept Silvermaster alive for the first mid of the game.
No, Pluxer, he's separated from the rest of his team. It's just poor Silvermaster. He's the one to go down, and he even gets an extended respawn as well. Oh, could things get any worse here for Gremlins?
Yeah, you've got to hope that we're not having a repeat of the last season with these Goon Squad guys. Let's hope their morale's not hurt too much, and you know we're not talking about a team dropping very, very early again.
It's very early days. It's week 1. You've got a lot of growth in you. This is literally like a showcase out of a prototype of these two teams. The Frenchies, they practically, live with each other. That's how much they play off each other. So, I wouldn't really take it too much to heart. Utka, if you hear me out there, your boys, they still have some gas in them. They just need a bit of shine and polish.
The control point is being contested.
Certainly you need to have a little bit of a shoe shining, I think. Oh, they're actually getting a couple of frags here, but that was a nice shot. Was that their shot? Was it a wall shot? I don't know.
Oh man. Peter, if you're at this part of the demo, you can just gloss over this. I don't think you could even enter some of these into a frag grid at this point.
We're now at a 5v6.
Oh my god, is that a backburner bomb? It's coming out! The big strats, but, you know, sadly picks up one health pack and all of the hard work of Demol nullified.
Yeah, sadly. Backburner.
Oh my god, the body shot coming out from QB. What a way to go. You survive a pyro backburner bomb and you go out like this from shutter door. DQZ, he's rocking a sniper as well. Body shots only. This is CP Orange. I was kidding when I said get in the clown car.
Well, it looks like they tried to concede. Not sure if it is in the season available or not, but they're certainly attempting it.
Wait, what? -1? Oh, so I guess they did after all, and I think the concede thing is still a thing. I thought they took it out. I thought they made a point about saying it wasn't really a... Well, I've had my words. It is technically a mercy rule, you know, 4 to -1 is a 5-point difference.
Yeah. I mean, Gremlins, they don't deserve the -1. I think, you know, to be honest, if they'd had 6 players on the server for more of it, then maybe they could have got around. You know, it wasn't a complete stomp. But yeah, let's hope it's not too demoralising for them. There's last few minutes.
-1. Oh, -1 player, -1 in the round counter, -1 in our hearts. I don't know. Let's look at some of these stats. Oh dear God! Don't look at the stats. Look away. Look away if you're a Gremlins fan. It's Demol. He's topping the charts, and this man was playing spy, pyro, soldier, sniper. He was having a whale of a time. But I mean, it does illustrate that it is a soldier map, I suppose. But there's one I really want to highlight that doesn't really look like he's having the greatest time in the logs, but he was absolutely ploughing. Delhi, my man, my boy. I'm not joking when I said move over Namtak and Ellicott. He was on fire.
Was doing pretty well. It had a lot of dominations as well, I saw earlier in the game, so pretty solid performance from him. And just looking here, AZN as well. Big 29 frags. Big performance from him.
Oof. Well, Dave, I think we need to wrap things up here. We need to close things out. We need to take a page out of Utka's book and just get out of here, you know? Have you got anything nice to say to the wild world before we start ending the show?
Shout out to all my fans.
All right, I'm going to give a big shout out to all the Dave's fans as well. Be my fans instead. Otherwise, you can find all of the fan and the fan talk over on Team Fortress TV. Yes, that's teamfortress.tv. You got more of those articles talking about these two teams and what the kind of hopes and aspirations and all the sorts of context of this sort of crazy match. Otherwise, I've been TurboTabs. Again, with me has been Dave, Rahmed, and all his fans as well. I'll give a big shout out to. Otherwise, you know, catch us in the future for more ETF2L Season 39, who still has the concede function. Who would have guessed it? Bye-bye now.